It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Covering the latest in all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. You're checking out the RCWR show for Wednesday night of May 25th, 2022. Lee Sanders here. Very good Wednesday to you guys. I hope you all are doing great. Hump Day is here. That weekend for many of us is just around the corner. I cannot wait. And hey, if you are a wrestling fan, we've got some great in-ring action that's going to be coming our way this week, mainly from AEW, as Double or Nothing, the 2022 edition, is literally days away. We are right around the corner from that bad boy, and that is going to be one stacked ass card from top to bottom. I couldn't help but really sit down because you can only hear but so much of Excalibur. Don't get me wrong, he does a fantastic job with his commentating, and there's nothing wrong with his commentating, but you know how it is with Excalibur at times. You're watching a match and he is just spewing out 5-10 different things during a particular sequence in a match, and you're going, wait a minute, the hell did this guy just say? And you're trying to rewind and listen to whatever it was that he just said. But I actually had looked at the card literally before coming on the air here, and last I saw, now I am thinking about the fact that there is a bunch of pre-show matchups and everything, but just grand total, we're looking at about at least 11 to 12 matches. You heard me right. We're looking at least 11 to 12 matches for Double or Nothing. So that is going to be one long night, man. And the odds of us getting out of there within 3 hours, we can pretty much forget that. I mean, am I right or am I right? That's going to be, but you know what? I think when it's all said and done, we're going to have a pretty good time. So am I going to be checking out Double or Nothing this coming weekend? Oh, bet you by golly. Wow, I will be checking out Double or Nothing. We'll get into all of that programming notes and everything in just a hot little bit, but come one, come all, stay a while we talk all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond. Hey, look, before we go any further into the show, I'm not going to even spend several minutes talking about this, by the way. I mean, if anything, you know, you guys really want me to go more in depth, or you're looking for me to go more in depth about this, I will gladly speak on this on the next Wrestling with the Topics. But I will just say this, and we'll keep it moving along. My thoughts, prayers, my condolences, my strength is definitely with the families, I should say, that were affected by that terrible shooting that went down in Texas this week. It's inexcusable. It's disgusting. It's inhumane. I just do not, for the love of me, I don't know what is going on with today's kids that feel so... I don't want to try to act as if I know how these kids are feeling, but I can't help but wonder what has them that upset, y'all, that they have to take a high-powered weapon into a public school, shoot and kill their fellow classmates. I just... Wow, is all I have to say about that. Obviously, the times, they are changing. And, for me, growing up, used to know people that were in gangs, living in the ghetto and all of that off and on over the years. And there were certain codes. There were certain codes coming up. Hey, don't fuck with the elderly. Hey, nah, man, we don't do nothing with the kids. No, we leave the elderly alone. We leave the kids alone. Those with disability, we leave them alone. Innocents, we leave them alone. Anything that needs to take care of itself, right? Somebody that does business with the streets or whatever, and there's something that needs to be taken care of, well, the streets is going to pretty much take care of that person, if you catch my drift, right? But innocents were basically off limits. Okay, you go into a church, hey man, that's holy ground. Anybody that's seen enough episodes of Highlander, to my point, those guys would be fighting any and everywhere, but the one place where they did not, hey, holy ground, that was one of the places. Okay, we ain't messing with holy ground. Nah, holy grounds is off limits. And it's just amazing how the times have changed now, because we've seen one shooting go down at a church, and right, and then another shooting goes down at a grocery store. You would have just thought that of all the places, I still can't wrap my brain around that. Everybody's got to eat, right? Who doesn't love to eat? That's got to be the one place where you can just feel like yourself. You can just come as you are. Nobody's going to pass any type of judgment on you whatsoever. You can just go in there, do what you need to do, in and out. Hey, maybe you make a friend in the process, right? A lot can happen at a grocery store. You could make a new friend in the process, whether it comes from the person that's bagging your goods to the cashier, maybe the greeter, the person at the customer service desk, or maybe you bump into a fellow shopper and one thing leads into another, and next thing you know, y'all exchange phone numbers, and who knows, maybe that's a date. Maybe you found your future Mr. or Mrs. or whatever, and we got crazy shit that's going down at a grocery store, right? But to see this shit that happened in Texas this week, I agree with the sentiments that a lot of celebrities have said within the past couple of days since this tragedy has come about. And the time for thoughts, prayers, condolences, don't get me wrong, it's a very nice gesture. It really is. But what typically happens, right? Oh, man, that's so unfortunate. Oh, yeah. Well, hey, look, we got the NBA playoffs. Man, I'm really hoping that blah, blah, blah can make it to the NBA finals, right? We just move on. Somebody had posted a really interesting image of the cycle that we go through when it comes to these shootings, right? We all get dumb and, we're all like, oh, we got to do better. We need to do better, right? And then some time goes by and we're pretty much back to our usual comatose status. And then when another shooting incident of this magnitude occurs again, then we happen to say, oh, when is enough? And basically, you would just like to believe that honestly, after what went down with that Dark Knight shooting in Colorado, that would have been the tipping point. You would have thought that what went down with Sandy Hook would have been the tipping point. But now that we're seeing what's come about in Texas, your guess is as good as mine, boys and girls. Your guess is as good as mine. I got to be really honest with you all. I was not even going to do this show tonight because that's how disgusted, angry I am at the shit that just continues to go down, because there's more to life that's more important than talking about wrestling. It just is. I mean, respect everybody, right? I get it. We're trying to escape from reality. We're trying to, some of us have our own little issues and everything, but, there comes a time where you got to put some of that shit that you like getting into to the side and have some serious talk. And this shit that's going down right now, the time for condolences and prayers, that's nice, but we're long past that. Now more than ever, we need accountability. Now more than ever, we need action. We need to give these families some type of resolution. All these families over the years that have lost loved ones due to a form of gun violence or mass shootings of the magnitude that we've experienced this week, we need for these families to get resolution. And I just do not understand how we have people that are gun owners themselves, some even part of the whole NRA. They're saying, hey, I get it. I collect guns. I get it. I get what people are saying. I get their concerns. Yeah, you know what? Nobody should be having access to high-powered semi-automatic weapons of this magnitude. Nobody should have access to them. Yeah, we definitely need to tighten this up. We need to pass this legislation. We need to, just kind of follow up what I said on Twitter. Now more than ever, we got to hold those that have been elected accountable. And if they are not going to do the job, then we need to do our parts as Americans and vote their asses out. Now more than ever, anybody that does not get involved in your local state, in your local city, your local jurisdiction, you get involved, you know who's who, making sure that these people that are trying to seek election, they're trying to get your vote, make sure that these people represent you to the fullest. And if they don't, do not vote for them, right? But I'll save more talk of that on Wrestling with the Topics, but I'll say this for anybody that is an NBA fan, go out of your way and check out what Steve Kerr had to say. It was during a press media warm-up, basically, before the game between the Warriors and the Mavericks from yesterday, right? Go out of your way and check that out. Mavericks could have freaking had a sweep. That would have been game 4. That could have been the sweep, but there's going to be a game 5. But if you haven't seen what he said to the press media before they did their game, go check it out. It is the most passionate, not really a speech, but just sentiments that I know every single American feels. And before anybody tries to shit on Steve Kerr, look up your history on Steve Kerr. Educate yourself and dip into his family history and everything. And you'll see, once you understand the history of Steve Kerr, you'll get why he was so passionate about what all went down in Texas this week. Read his bio first, and then when you watch him for that 2 to 3 minutes, you'll be nodding your head and you'll totally understand. I mean, he really captured, I think, without a doubt, how every American is feeling right now. But, from that, we got to somehow do a hard 180 and liven up the mood a little bit, right? Try to take our minds off of that unfortunate tragedy and all of that. But it is what it is. So again, I hope you guys, besides all that stuff that's been going down, I hope you guys legit, you've been staying safe. Y'all been doing well. We got a nice busy week that's going on. So look, we're going to try to be in and out. We're going to try to see if we can do this show in about 90 minutes or less. Wifey needs to do some stuff on the computer here, work-wise. And honestly, I kind of want to get back into my prepping because I'm still prepping for the Awesome Con panel that's going to be coming up next week. I'll give you the details on that one. This week's AEW Dynamite, the final Dynamite, as we're going into Double or Nothing weekend, you know what? They did okay. They did okay. There were many areas tonight I'm looking at. I'm nodding my head in approval. For me, for starters, I like that we kick things off with Wardlow, Shawn Spears, that steel cage match. I loved how beautifully that match was laid out, by the way. You could not have laid that match out any better than the way it was laid out tonight, because you're looking at this match and you're saying to yourself, well, if MJF is the special guest referee in this bad boy, there is just no way humanly possible that under any circumstance, MJF is going to count a 1, 2, 3 for Wardlow. Add also into the equation that if Wardlow puts his hands on MJF, not only is he automatically disqualified, but then the match against MJF at Double or Nothing is off. So there is a whole lot that's at stake here. So I loved how this match was designed from the moment that Wardlow got into the ring. And he's expecting for MJF to take his handcuffs off of him. And MJF is pretending, where's that key? Where's that key? Very reminiscent to when MJF was looking to Wardlow to give him that dynamite ring so he could use it on CM Punk in their now classic encounter. And Wardlow basically, Psycho Boo Boo don't have it, gives it to CM Punk instead and everything. MJF now, bye. How the tides have turned here. Love that. I freaking love that. Shawn Spears just getting a sneak attack on Wardlow. MJF getting in a little bit of attacks in there on his own. One point, MJF and Wardlow meet up face to face, and MJF spits in Wardlow's face. Just a big old nice glove, just spits in his face. And he tried. He tried. You're looking at this. You're loving the storyline. You're loving how this is laid out because you're going, okay, he's really trying to rattle the big man. He's really trying to get under his skin, make big man snap, and attack him so that this match at Double or Nothing can be off, just everything. But Wardlow did not play that. Freaking badass. Freaking badass. I loved it. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, when MJF did that spit to Wardlow, if anything, he got so pissed off, rather than hit MJF, he just pretty much internalized that bad boy, broke those handcuffs off. Now, you know, in real life, handcuffs, look, I don't know where they got those handcuffs from. Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe somebody had got those from Treasure Palace, right? Victoria's Secret. I don't know, man. I don't know. But wherever they got them handcuffs, those were not the real deal. Those were not the real freaking deal. But from the moment Wardlow broke out of those handcuffs, you just knew, okay, where are we really going with this now, right? And you saw a little bit more of 2-on-1 handicap going on. Wardlow pretty much getting the best of these guys without Wardlow ever touching MJF. I want to make sure that we're really stressing that. He never got physical with MJF given the circumstances. But you know what? You could be technical because you could look at that spot that went down with the steel chair that was in Wardlow's hands, and he was getting ready to come. Actually, no, correction. It was Shawn Spears. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it was Shawn Spears. Forgive me there. I almost got a brain fart live. It happens, though. But Shawn Spears had a steel chair in hand as MJF had picked up Wardlow. And even that right there, because for a second I thought it was actually Wardlow with a steel. No, but it was actually the other way around. Just the attention to detail that we had with Shawn Spears, steel chair. He's getting ready to go to the dome of Wardlow. Wardlow moves out the way in time. MJF is laid out. He is totally unconscious. You're going, all right, well, this is it. This is the opening that Wardlow needs here to get in, get this dub already. And sure enough, that's exactly how it was laid out. Fucking great. 1 Symphony of Destruction powerbomb. 2 Symphony of Destruction powerbombs. 3, but then a 4th one onto a steel chair, picking up the dub. Wardlow gets his match against MJF. Now, the only thing I didn't like about that match, beautifully laid out. I personally would have done without all the staff/security detail coming into the ring one by one, and Wardlow is knocking them off with a one-handed fist. I just felt that was too fucking comical. To each its own. Me personally, I thought it was too comical. I felt you really did not need that. If anything, you should have had Wardlow try to exit the cage. MJF gets a cheap shot on Wardlow. Wardlow goes berserk, and he can now get physical because no matter what, he's going to be able to get MJF at the pay-per-view. You have the security detail try to detain Wardlow, and then Wardlow just freaking snaps on all of them. I thought that would have been a better layout personally than just seeing this guy one by one. I mean, you know, you're looking at this and the 20-something guys, because it felt like an eternity watching all of those guys get in there one by one. You just would have thought that if that would have been you or me or anybody else, man, these guys are getting their asses handed to them one by fucking one, man. You know what? Maybe, okay, we try a new game plan. Maybe we actually try to surround the ring and then come at Wardlow that way. Other than that, like the way that the match was laid out. Kudos to AEW for the way that match was laid out. We got some final... Oh, this is money. What's going on here? I'll check that out later. That's money. That's money talking right now. We'll get into that later. So what else went down tonight? I liked how... By the way, anybody notice how they didn't really use Aubrey Edwards that much on this week's Dynamite? I hope that the stuff that's been put out there on social media isn't starting to get to her. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you happen to have Twitter, just go online and just type in Aubrey Edwards and you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. You'll definitely come across it sooner than later, but it's had a lot of people talking. I'll give you one hint right now. It even had Jim Cornette talk about it. So that'll be your one and only clue right there. But that match, not really much of a match between Wardlow and Shawn Spears. Crowd was definitely eating this up. They were white hot, deep into this bad boy. Good, good. I like the way it was booked overall. This was more about setting up MJF and Wardlow than anything else, I must say. It was more than anything else, I would say. We also had CM Punk, Hangman Adam Page. They went face to face one last time before their championship match at Double or Nothing. Tony Schiavone, all throughout this episode, he kind of came off to me a little bit of an instigator because we've got him between Hangman and CM Punk, and whenever a guy is saying something, Tony Schiavone's got the microphone and he's going, all right, well, how about that? Well, what do you say to that? He's got a point there, you know. What do you think? Right? He's just doing that all throughout the night, and you're just kind of like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously, we don't need your 2 cents in that bad boy. But anyway, crowd in this one, they seem to be more, I would say, pro-Punk and anti-Page. If that makes any sense to you guys. It was kind of interesting what was going on here. And Hangman Page told CM Punk, hey, I told you a couple of weeks ago, I was going to decimate you. I was going to humiliate you. I was going to fucking expose you. I told you I was going to do all of that. And yeah, we got our match coming up at Double or Nothing. But I'm going to do all of those things here tonight. And so you're going, huh? Oh, okay. What's going on here, right? And Hangman is talking from a place here of great passion, furious anger and rage, right? I mean, he is coming from this place where CM Punk has literally gone Michael Corleone on fucking Hangman Adam Page. He's going, it's nothing personal. It's just business, right? And you're kind of like, yeah, how can you? He earned his shot. He earned his shot to be the number one contender. Yeah, Hangman, why are you so pissed off here? What's going on? But Punk is wondering yet again, why is Hangman taking this so personally, as he did what any other guy in the back would have done, and he pretty much fought his way through the ranks, and he's the number one contender, and it is what it is and everything. And Hangman didn't go all in as far as, it's funny I mentioned all in, pay-per-view, all that, but Hangman didn't really live up to what he said he was going to do to CM Punk here tonight. However, we did get a little piece of where Hangman is mindset-wise as far as his viewpoints on CM Punk. You know, one of the things, he was a little bit cryptic about it too. He said, look, everybody knows how I am. Everybody knows how I bust my ass for this company. I'm hardworking. You know, I go above and beyond. And when the cameras are off, when the lights are off, it's those little things that matter that everybody picks up on and sees. And pretty much he's alluding to the fact that when the cameras and all that is off on CM Punk apparently is acting an entirely different way that the fans are not aware of. And it's kind of interesting that, you know, here we are yet again, we're kind of hearing this cryptic thing about Punk, because MJF, for what it was worth, you know, he mainly focused on Punk walking away from him, from the industry and all of that. But even he was a little bit cryptic about some of the things that he's been noticing about Punk since he's been back, right? So my point, this isn't the first time that we've heard, yeah, you talk a real good game, Punk, but we know what the real deal is, don't we, right? So thought that was kind of interesting that, you know, we were going here in that direction. And then Hangman really letting it be known, hey, I'm not going to be defending my championship against you at Double or Nothing. No. What I'm going to be defending is All Elite Wrestling from you. And I thought that right there, and the way he delivered it, I got to be brutally honest with you, that was the most passionate, great in character promo, most strongest promo that Hangman Adam Page has cut to date. I thoroughly had enjoyed that. It made me sit back and say, wow, I didn't know Hangman was capable of delivering such a powerful performance on the microphone. Where the fuck was this guy previous months ago? Because it definitely would have made his championship reign much more interesting, I personally feel, rather than many of us kind of get to this point where we're feeling as though maybe it's time for the championship to be taken off of Hangman, right? So, yeah, kind of interesting. I loved it. That I would definitely encourage, and hopefully AEW will have the common sense to take that particular segment and upload it on their official YouTube channel and all that. Blast that bad boy throughout social media, because that definitely was a pretty good moment right there in those two exchanging words. CM Punk, you know, pretty much coming right back and saying, you know what, you're gonna shake my hand at Double or Nothing. Hell, you're going to shake my hand right now. and Hangman, he decides, yeah, nah, that ain't happening. He just pretty much slugs his ass down to the canvas takes his championship, rolls out. He kind of realizes, shit, Punk got me again, as Punk is looking on with that Chester grin on his face. You just can't help but wonder, is this game set match for Hangman? We'll talk a lot more about that when we get ready to go into predictions for Double or Nothing. Moving on, tag team matchup, Private Parties, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy going up against Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston. Team of Kingston and Moxley picking up the win right here. Solid match. Outcome of it, I don't think anybody ever questioned who was going to be coming out on top of this. Private Party still got a ways to go as far as I'm concerned, but mixing it up with guys such as the Blackpool Combat Club, don't do no wrong. Now, post-match, the Jericho Appreciation Society, Jazz, we got it. They had attacked, but in comes Santana Ortiz, Bryan Danielson, pretty much even up the odds. We get a brawl that ends up having the officials come out, try to get control on the situation here. And that pretty much was the end of that one. Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match. Titles were on the line. Dax Hardwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR, defended successfully against Roppongi Vice's Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero. It's kind of another one of those, don't really think anybody ever questioned that the titles were going to stay right with the champions here. Not too shabby of a matchup right here. Non-finish, I mean, you kind of saw that being a little bit predictable, especially with the way that the match layout had came about. Post-match, Cobb and Khan, they had laid both FTR and Roppongi Vice out. Cobb had hit Dax with a power bomb through a table, while Khan had used a claw slam that sent Trent Beretta through a table as well. Pretty much after that, Cobb and Khan, they were posing with the ROH tag titles. All right, so we kind of see where this is pretty much going to be going, leading into Double or Nothing. Hardy Boys, they're chilling in the back. They're talking. They're pretty much going over the similarities between themselves and the Young Bucks and everything. So this is just pretty much putting more muster on the eventual match that's going to happen between Bucks and the Hardys. So not too shabby there. No Sting, no Darby Allin on this episode, by the way. Once again, no House of Black on this episode as well. I don't know how you guys personally feel about the lack of some of these guys we've been seeing the past couple of weeks, but not really a fan of that, I must say. Not really a fan of that, especially Malachi Black. I personally miss seeing Malachi Black in singles action, but that's just me. Fourth matchup, triple threat match, Swerve Strickland, Ricky Starks, Jungle Boy going at it. Remember, this was announced from last week. Swerve Strickland picking up the win. Great athleticism in this match from all the guys. I had enjoyed this. Probably of the matches tonight from Dynamite, I would say this was my absolute favorite. Post-match, Powerhouse Hobbs running down, pretty much steamrolled over Strickland and Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus came out, tried to attack Hobbs. As two of them, they're pretty much squaring off when all of a sudden Keith Lee decides to get into the mix of things between those big men. And he does this weird spot over the top rope, crashing into the guys. It was nice. It was basically a plancha that he did over the rope, crashing into Luchasaurus and Hobbs. Good shit right there. Meanwhile, in the back, Dan Lambert, Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, they are taking their shots, insults-wise, to Sammy Guevara. Yeah, don't care about that, right? Don't care about that. Tony Schiavone interviewing Thunder Rosa on her match against Serena Deeb. I think it's Kenny Olivier on Twitter. You know, he's got this great video where so far it's documented how much in-ring time we have seen of Thunder Rosa since she's become the AEW Women's Champion and everything. And I know Thunder Rosa, I would like to think Thunder Rosa knows that the fans that are complaining about this, I would hope that she knows deep down in her heart of hearts that the fans, they mean well. They just want to see more of her in action. That's all it's about, basically, because they've seen her grinding all these years. You know, for some that's been able to follow her work for as long as, you know, guys like me. And if anything, it's just, okay, now that you've become champion, well, we've kind of scaled it back here a little bit. You know, hey, what's going on here and everything, right? So I hope she can understand where the fans are coming from, because I don't think the majority mean any malice whatsoever. But, you know, this was a nice promo that she had, pretty much hyping up her match against Serena Deeb at the pay-per-view. And she pretty much said she wants for everyone to see her face, because this was the first time that she actually came out without any makeup on, without her trademark makeup. Normally she has at least one half of her face covered, but she came out without any makeup at all. And she said, yo, you know, I ain't got no face paint on at this moment, and this is the face of someone who's pretty much busted their ass doing everything that was asked of me to do, and then some. Someone who's grateful, appreciative of being a champion, never complained about anything that was asked of me to do. I freaking did it. She talked about how Deeb isn't a champion. All she does is complain and points fingers, you know, rather than taking self-accountability, looking herself in the mirror and all. And talks about how her face used to look up to Deeb, but not anymore. Sunday, she's putting on her war paint. And she's going to teach Deeb a lesson or two about respect. So it was a pretty good promo, but it got botched big time because, you know, as she's cutting this promo, you know, I'm trying to just think to myself who potentially is at fault here, because as she's cutting this promo and she's very deep into it, right? And I love this personal, intense side of Thunder Rosa without the makeup, because without the makeup, she looks like one crazy ass, you know. I actually follow her, or we follow each other on social media, so I stay seeing all the pictures that she's usually posting of herself and everything. And, you know, sometimes, you know, she can have those moments where she's looking a little bit psycho. I'm talking about without the makeup. She looks a little psycho, right? It's a cool psycho, mind you. I kind of dig crazy chicks now, no? That's another story. I like them crazy. But, you know, she kind of had this little glare in her eyes that she could just snap at any moment. I'm talking about the promo that she had tonight. So I was feeling her without the makeup, but it got botchy a little bit because I don't know who was supposed to be managing the time of her promo, but her music came on and she's still talking. She's trying to cut her fucking promo. And I fucking laughed my ass off because all I could think about was a class that I just wrapped up, the Human Foundations of Communication. It was a communications course I was taking. And every single Monday, we would have an oral presentation. And we would get timed. We would get timed for our oral presentation. We would have 4 to 5 minutes to speak. And so the way the instructor had us trained, and I basically kind of looked at this like promo classes, basically. The way that she had us trained, it was, okay, so if you are preparing for a 4-minute to a 5-minute speech, what's your goal? You know, when should you be done with your speech? And we're like, 5 minutes? Like, no, you should be done in 4 minutes. Write it in a way, rehearse it in a way where you're done in 4 minutes. But if anything weird happens where you're ad-libbing or whatever, you know, you're kind of going off the map a little bit, you got a little bit of wiggle room to play with, but you'll be finished way under 5 minutes, because you would get penalized if you went past the 5 minutes.
And what she would do, once you went past the 5 minutes, she would cut off your mic. She would just cut off your mic and say, sorry, you ran out of time, and then go on to the next presenter. And when I'm looking at what went down with Thunder Rosa, that's immediately what I was thinking when her music was coming on, right down to the point. Thunder Rosa actually had shut up for a second, and then she tried to, get back into her promo again, trying to put some final stank on that bad boy. Yeah, just kind of, I don't know if that was maybe because of Shivani or what. Your guess is as good as mine. From there, somehow, oddly, Tony Schiavone was able to magically teleport backstage, chatting it up with Red Velvet. I don't know if you guys had caught that. Wait a minute, Tony Schiavone's in the ring and now he's magically teleported to speak with Red Velvet. What the fuck, right? Velvet was supposed to win and advance in her joint, the Owen Hart Foundation joint. Ruby Soho comes in there, overhearing. Ruby asks if Velvet has anything to say. Velvet hands her a notebook that's pretty much a scouting report on Chris Statlander. And Ruby acknowledges she's beaten Statlander by the skin of her teeth last time, but she's still woman enough to meet her without the scouting report, and pretty much tosses it back to Red Velvet. So much for an olive branch. Ruby Soho, yeah, no, I got this. I'm good. Owen Hart Foundation tournament, Dr. Britt Baker defeating Toni Storm to advance to the finals. Here's what's sad about this particular matchup. This match was actually starting to get good. God, I can't remember if this match even went about 4 or if it was 5 minutes, but it did not even touch nowhere near 9 minutes. I remember that for sure. It was starting to develop in a good way. And then we get this botch finish that just really put major funk on this match. And the way that this pretty much had wrapped up, I'm looking at my notes here. We got a twisted neck breaker from Baker that got her a near fall. Storm avoided the ripcord elbow, countered with a German suplex. They head out of the ring. Storm connects with a sliding DDT onto the floor. Back in the ring. Haters on the apron. Storm manages to smack her off of it. Baker has a super kick that gets blocked, but she counters the Storm Zero into a Rana pin. And there's a badly mistimed dirty finish as Hater misses her cue to get over and help hold Baker's hand on the finish. I mean, it was just utter fucking shit, that finish. I was not, now it kind of makes you go, so which finish was worse? What we saw tonight between Baker and Toni Storm, or what went down with Becky Lynch and Asuka? Something to ponder there. But yeah, another thing, the pacing. The pacing was a bit bad as well. It was starting to seem like it was developing kind of good here, but yeah, just not a fan of it. Pretty dull, quite honestly. Pretty dull execution overall for this one, and it fucking sucks. Toni Storm should have honestly advanced in this one. Man, you really want to try to put over a new hot commodity that's coming to your company and everything. I think they kind of dropped the ball here with this one. So as a result of Britt Baker winning, she's now in the final. She's pretty much going to be waiting for the winner of Ruby Soho taking on Chris Statlander. I believe that match is going to play out on this week's AEW Dynamite. More on that in a hot second. Owen Hart Foundation Tournament semifinal for the men. Kyle O'Reilly, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe picking up the W here. Very good work rate from both men. Both men did very solid. Very solid. I love how Kyle had went above and beyond to sell the desperation in his attempt to overthrow the Samoan bulldozer here, right? Because you're just looking at this and you're going, man, how can this? And I mean, just the time warp, being able to do the time warp again and just going into vintage ROH days, just kicking back, looking at these two guys. Well, was loving it. This was actually a pretty good main event match for what it was worth. Post-match, Adam Cole coming out, posing by the entrance ramp pretty much to end this episode. So, Adam Cole, Samoa Joe, that's going to be your Owen Hart men's tournament finals match. Winner takes all right there. And that's going to be the very first time ever that Samoa Joe and Adam Cole are going to be locking it up. So that is sure going to be a bona fide. Of all the matches for Double or Nothing, I'm looking forward to that one the most. I think that one is going to be sure freaking fire. So nice build-up that they did going into Double or Nothing for this weekend. My hat's off to AEW. This was honestly a pretty enjoyable episode. If I were to compare, I really don't like comparing because we're talking about a third hour of Raw after all compared to a 2-hour show. But I did enjoy so far for this week's of wrestling shows. I found myself really, really enjoying what Dynamite had did tonight. Definitely a solid rating from me. Definitely a solid rating from me. Nice, good build going towards your Double or Nothing. What else? Put a lot of great interest going into Double or Nothing. Match qualities for the most part, pretty good. One of the best Dynamite shows that they've put out within recent weeks. I'll definitely say that. Few timing issues, few pacing issues with a couple of matches, but overall, show definitely delivered. Hey, we did pretty good, by the way, talking about Dynamite. We were done in 30 minutes. I did have my stopwatch here because I told you guys that for all the shows going forward, we were only going to at most talk about, the main shows for about 30 minutes or less. Then, move on to other little wrestling news, tidbits, all that good stuff. And we actually did pretty good. We actually came just under 30 minutes. So that's pretty damn good, man. Progress, right? That is freaking progress. I like it when we can pretty much be in and out and all of that good stuff. So if you guys been enjoying yourselves so far, and I know you have been, if you haven't done so already, please go out of your way. Make sure you hit that like button. It only takes 2 seconds. When you do that, you help put more eyeballs on the content. Feel free to subscribe as well so you don't miss out on future content that comes your way on a weekly basis. I had said on the Monday show that I was going to show you guys, and so these are my new glasses, and I apologize for those of you that's only going to be checking out the audio version of this show. But if you want to see the glasses, just go to the 48-minute, 20-second mark of the show for the webcast stream, and you can see for yourself. So these are my new glasses. I told you guys on the Monday show I was going to show you all how the glasses look on the Wednesday show here. So these are my permanent glasses, my prescription glasses. I'm nearsighted. I got the official diagnosis about 2 weeks ago, or actually, yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe a little more than that. Feels like maybe it was almost 3 weeks ago. But I went to the eye doctor. I hadn't been to the eye doctor probably since I was a kid, and my doctor did not like hearing that. She pretty much said, it doesn't need to take as long for you to come get your eyes checked. I expect to see you, if not every year, I definitely need to see you at least every 2 years, okay? You promise you'll be back on a regular? I'm like, I promise, Doc, I'll be back on a regular. So she had me do an eye test. And basically, if you're nearsighted, you're pretty much good with something that's pretty much right in front of your face. But, the more distance you put, that's when things start to get a little bit blurry and everything. And that's what we were able to establish. So she gave me a prescription, and she told me straight up, she said, do you drive? I said, yeah. She goes, yeah, you definitely want to be wearing glasses when you're driving. You got to. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So that's it. So I'm finding these days I'm wearing my glasses about, I would say 40% of the time right now, because most of the work that I typically do, stuff is always in my face, and it's, so it's like, it's not bad. But if I'm trying to maybe read something from far away, or if I'm trying to look at something that's kind of far away, then that's when these come into play and everything. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's part of getting old. I didn't know that apparently every 2 years, once you're pretty much reach a certain age, I didn't know that pretty much one of the main reasons why you're getting your eyes checked every 2 years is because your eyes do age, they do develop, and pretty much, doctors and all of them, they want to make sure that everything's still good, everything is on the up and up. And the one thing that was very pleasing to me to hear the most when the doctor was checking out my eyes was the fact that because of my diabetes, it's not complicated, and knock on wood that it's not complicated, but my doctor, my optometrist, she pretty much said to me, okay, your eyes, the condition and all that, everything looks good. Everything still looks healthy from what I'm able to see. You got nothing to worry about. It just looks like what's going on with you right now, just part of getting older and everything. So those glasses should help you out. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. So that's the story of the glasses and everything. So again, when I'm pretty much in the studio here, pretty much in front of the webcam and all of that, I don't need them. Unless I'm reading something that's kind of far away, or maybe the print is pretty small, kind of out of focus, that's when pretty much these things come into play and everything. They gave me a really nice case too, to put these glasses in. Very, very nice and hard of a case. I like that. Good stuff right there. So, we didn't get a chance to talk about this on Monday. I could have went into it on Monday's show, but I wasn't trying to be long-winded with it, especially now that we've been finding our groove these past few weeks, doing 90-minute shows or less and everything. And I know you guys been definitely appreciating it, because when we do these nice shorter shows like that, where you can pretty much be in and out, put you guys in a great position where you can maybe piggy on back, check out other shows, that we have, or, friends of the podcast family and everything. So Stephanie McMahon taking her leave of absence from the WWE. Don't worry, I didn't forget about Double or Nothing and all that. We're just getting into some news, little tidbits. I got some AEW news related tidbits as well, but Stephanie McMahon, we did not get into. She's going to be stepping away from WWE. She put out an official statement, if you want to call it that, on her social media feeds, basically saying she was going to be spending that time away from the company to spend it with her family, and that she looked forward to coming back to the WWE at a much later date, because pretty much WWE, it's in her blood, it's pretty much her life and all of that good stuff, right? And when I first saw this news, I just couldn't help but say to myself, well, you know what? Good for her. I couldn't help but say that, because sometimes it can take a health scare, and the type of health scare that Triple H had, Paul Levesque. Sometimes it could take a health scare like that to, at times, bring a relationship even more closer together. Believe it or not, sometimes it can be, to quote one of my favorite songs from Mark Lanigan with the Screaming Trees, I nearly lost you there. Right. So, I would not be surprised. I'm speculating, of course, but in most cases, when you have such a serious health scare like the one Triple H and Stephanie had experienced, and how you pretty much were able to cheat death, per se, it really does make one really be more mindful of their surroundings, be more appreciative of the time that they still have on this earth, and look at all of their current past relationships and anything anything bad that they did wrong, man up to it, own it, and try to figure out ways to rectify, those damaged relationships. So I would not be surprised if, Stephanie, feeling as now somebody brought up a really good point, by the way. And I definitely want to give credit where credit is due, because I initially had heard this from my boys over there at Wrestling Soup. So shout out to them. I can't remember who they originally heard it from, but apparently somebody had said that as far back as maybe this year's WrestleMania, or maybe last year's WrestleMania, that there's some photo that's floating around where Stephanie McMahon did not have her wedding ring on. And this person was able to see through previous photos from over the years that, apparently anytime you had saw Stephanie, she always had her wedding band on. Anytime you saw Triple H, he had his wedding band on as well. But that, here we are here, this particular time frame, Stephanie McMahon was without her ring. And so it led some to speculate if maybe there was something that was going on between them before Triple H had his health scare. That's, look, if that person really did do their respected research and they were able to see that after a certain time, Stephanie went without her wedding band, they are fucking Columbo in my book, right? Because the only time that a woman will take her wedding band off, I know from, personal experience, being married the last rodeo and being married this go round, the only time that your significant other will take their wedding band off is, hey, why isn't your wedding band on? Yeah, it was really starting to feel pretty tight around my finger. I got to shed off just a little bit of weight and, I should be good to go. But it was actually starting to hurt my finger a bit. Like, oh, okay, cool. I've experienced that myself with my first marriage when I was at my most heaviest. I was about damn near pushing 300 pounds. This was, like 20 something years ago. My ring, there was a long period of time where my ring, I wasn't wearing it because it was hurting. When I would try to put it on my finger, it was bad. And I remember when I had initially, when I was able to take it off, I remember my ring band, when I took it off, my finger, I swear to God, it looked as though that particular area was about to go dead, right? Because there was some serious discoloration that was going on. I remember at times I kind of had a hard time. You can see that I'm able to bend my finger here, my wedding band finger, with ease. There was a time where I wasn't even able to do that because of how tight that ring was around my finger and all that. So usually that's when a wedding band will typically come off. Maybe if they're trying to add something new to the ring, maybe some new stones or get an inscription. Those are the rare instances that you'll see the ring be taken off and all that. But one thing that we all got to remember as wrestling fans, especially those of us that's been following the WWE product for so long, we grew up watching Stephanie in some form. As far as seeing the Stephanie McMahon character on a regular basis, we saw this girl pretty much fresh out of college. So she would have been 21, 22, definitely somewhere between 20 to 22. We would have been seeing her. So we've watched her in WWE all these fucking years now. Okay? And for her to get to a point where she's saying, hey, I just want to step back a little bit and I want to recharge the batteries. I want to spend time with the family. Me personally, I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I don't have a problem with that. For me, my mindset has always been, what? And longtime listeners know what I'm getting ready to say. I've said this for the longest. At the end of the day, you only got yourself that is going to look out for you. So when it comes to taking care of home, taking care of your family, taking care of your health, your well-being, Nobody else is going to do that for you except for you. So you've got to make the time to get your house in order, basically, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And they've got 3 beautiful kids that's, in play as well. So it's interesting, though. I will say this. It's interesting from this standpoint. If you would have told me that in 2022, that the only McMahon that would be around in the company is Vince, I would look at that and say, damn, what the hell is going on? One thing did occur to me, just kind of looking at all of this that's going on. And I posed this question to you guys. For those of you that listened carefully to that Vince McMahon interview on the Pat McAfee show, I didn't see anybody mention this. And now that I'm getting ready to put this out there, I'm very curious if you all, after you hear this, are thinking the same way I'm thinking, which is, I remember at one point during the Pat McAfee Vince McMahon interview, Vince said, and I'm paraphrasing, something along the lines of, I had always expected and had hoped that the company would continue on with my family, that my family would be, taking over the reins and, they'd be handling everything. But, it just looks like it's not going to go down that way. And I'm disappointed about that. I know you guys remember that. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what I remember in a nutshell. Do you guys think, again, I've seen nobody mention this. Do you guys think that whatever was going on between Triple H and Stephanie could have been going down as far back as then when Vince had did that interview? And maybe in retrospect, hindsight being 2020, that might have been one of the things that Vince McMahon was alluding to in that interview. Just something to ponder. Because to now I can't help but feel that this is not as blindsided as some of us fans may think of hearing Stephanie make this announcement. It's very well that Vince could have known about what Stephanie ultimately was going to be doing here for a couple of months. Just something to think about. Just marinate on it and follow up. Let me know what you guys think. But I just feel maybe I might be on to something there. We'll have to wait and see. But wow, Nick Khan pretty much got all the cards in play now. It's interesting, man. I'm telling you, he's just slowly moving up the fucking ranks. So there's a report that's floating around about Killer Kross reportedly having talks with AEW. Apparently, very, very specific. There were talks that he had with AEW about being Wardlow's opponent on Dynamite. Shout out to the good kind people at Fightful Select for that report. They're saying that he was having talks with AEW, that according to the report, Killer Kross was originally approached as the opponent to face Wardlow on AEW Dynamite earlier this month in May. He actually was supposed to appear on the May 4th episode. Per their report, AEW approached Kross about being a potential opponent for Wardlow on the show. However, the two sides couldn't come to terms to have Kross appear, and the deal didn't go through. So very interesting. Now, remember, Tony Khan in a previous interview, he spoke about Kross and Scarlett at the Supercard of Honor post-show scrum and a tentative plan to use them later on and everything. So very interesting right here. The report had went on to say that talks to have Kross work the May 4th Dynamite reportedly fell apart as it got closer to the event, and it said that Kross became aware that Scarlett, who is, they're married in real life, would not be part of the event. The wrestler was reportedly concerned his AEW debut would turn out similarly to his WWE main roster debut against Jeff Hardy. This is unlike his successful NXT run, which included Scarlett as his manager of LA and his entrance presentation. The report notes that the sources indicate that both sides are still on good terms. Possibility remains open. They could still work with each other in the future. And as we all know, ultimately, W. Morrissey from Impact, he would be the one to do the deed to Wardlow. So look, if those reports are true, and shout out to my podcast brother in arms in Don Tony, I'm very, very curious now. I think, and anybody that is a fan of Don Tony, you do this whenever he gets ready to do the Karrion Kross interview, because I know he's supposed to be interviewing Karrion very, very soon. You mentioned to him, like, hey, Lee Sanders from the RCWR show, he's got a really good question here. Was it true that he actually was supposed to be a losing victim to Wardlow, and did he ultimately back out because of everything that Fightful was saying? We want to know, because let's assume that Fightful is hearing this correct. Then it was a really great move for Karrion Kross / Killer Kross to say, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do that because, yeah, this just screams when I was up on the main roster and I had that debut against Jeff Hardy. This is pretty much like history repeating its fucking self. Don't really think, right? So it was a good move. It was a good move. And that's not how you want to officially kick off the Karrion Kross / Killer Kross character in AEW. That is not how you want to fucking do it. No. 1,000 times nay. 1,000 times nay. Let's see. Other than that, hey, thoughts, prayers, condolences are with Lex Luger. Lex Luger had made the announcement that his mom passed away. As far as what she passed away from, I'm not seeing anything right now. But he wrote on social media, my dear sweet precious mom entered into heaven earlier this morning. Please join me in celebrating a remarkable life well lived. I love you, Mom. I will see you again. Thank you, Jesus. John 14:1-4. And for those of you that are not good on your Bible lingo, maybe it's been a good minute, or you just never picked up the book. It's a really good book. John 14:1-4 says, do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for why? So, something to think about there. So thoughts and prayers are with Lex Luger. So, yeah, lost his mom. Maybe it was just her time. Shout out to Aaron Stevens, the man formerly known as Damian Sandow. He has officially announced his final match. Kind of came from out of nowhere here. We know he's been on the circuit for a few years now. There was actually a period of time where after his run in Impact Wrestling, he pretty much was just done with pro wrestling altogether. But eventually, Billy Corgan and them, Trevor Murdoch and them, they reached out to him. Nick Aldis, yo, come on, man. Come on over to NWA. Let's get things popping. Let's get things rolling. And he actually, came on over there, and he's been doing pretty good over there, honestly. But on Instagram, he had posted a match graphic revealing that Trevor Murdoch has accepted his challenge for the upcoming Always Ready pay-per-view match. And the match is being promoted as Steven's Swan Song. And the quote that was under that image says, "This match against Trevor Murdoch at Always Ready, my swan song, as it were, not only marks the finale of the unparalleled wrestling career, but the dawn of a new age. When I first left wrestling, the business experienced one of the biggest lulls in its history. Since returning, my presence has not only proven a blessing to fans everywhere, but the entire industry has been better off because I was a part of it. After June 11th, I will keep the wrestling fans, all staff, the competitors, and the entire industry in my thoughts and prayers going forward as they all proceed without me. Thank you. You know, that's kind of sad, man. It really is, because look, you know, many of us were fans of the Damien Sandow character, and when you see some of the stuff that's happening now with the Elias character, and he's doing the whole Ezekiel bit and all that, when you see that, you're just going, man. You know, Aaron Stevens, Damien, he would have fitted in so perfectly. I don't know where I saw it, but somebody had the craziest idea of, wouldn't it be badass if Damien Sandow came in as Elias while Elias is still doing the Ezekiel thing? Wouldn't it be badass if Aaron came in and was doing Ezekiel? And was doing Elias. I'm like, who better than, right? So I know there was a period of time where after he got released from WWE, it was obvious. He let himself go weight-wise. He just seemed as though he lost that zest for creativity and all of that. And what we saw of him in Impact Wrestling, he was just a shell of his former self, quite honestly. And it's been a fun ride seeing him doing all his crazy shenanigans down there in NWA. I'm happy that I was able to see the tail end of his partnership with the Question Mark. That was honestly one of my favorite periods there for Aaron Stevens. But yeah, that's going to be going down on pay-per-view June 11th under NWA. For you guys. And don't forget, we mentioned it on the Monday show, but coming up in June, pretty much once I'm back from vacation, we're going to resume covering the NWA promotion again. I've just been enjoying being on break, because remember, we had pumped out show after show after show multiple days during the week. Remember, we were doing Women of Wrestling, the Lost episodes for many weeks there. So, now I'm just pretty much recharging the batteries for a bit. But after I'm back from vacation in June, we will resume covering it again for you guys. This week's AEW Dark is online, by the way. Check it out if you haven't done so already. The card for this week, Roppongi Vice taking on the Wingman. Robin Renegade faces Vicky Dreamboat. Sunny Kiss goes up against Carly Bravo. Lee Morty, meanwhile, faces Alan Five Angels. Leva Bates, rare Leva Bates appearance. She faces Kia Dream. Matt Bernard and Angelo Parker team up to face the team of Eli Isom and Tug Cooper. Anthony Ogogo goes one-on-one with Trenton Storm. AQA goes up against Brittany Jade, and Chris Statlander faces Avery Brooks. So, nice little card there for this week's AEW Dark. Also, make sure that your DVRs are set. Once again, very infuriating, I know, but it looks like the way the month of May is going to be wrapping up, AEW Rampage will not be on its regular time slot of 10 p.m. The way it's looking right now, Rampage will be coming on this Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. You heard me right, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure your DVR is set. Also, in addition, because initially it looked as though all signs were indicating it was going to be going back to its 10 p.m. slot, but no, because we're still dealing with these annoying NHL playoffs and all that. So it's going to be 6:30 p.m. Meanwhile, the countdown to Double or Nothing, that special has been changed as well. That will be coming on Friday night. Matter of fact, it's going to be coming on twice. It's going to be coming on Friday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. And then apparently it's going to come on again at 12 a.m. Eastern, the beginning of Saturday, basically. So if you miss it that initial time Friday night, they're going to re-air it one more time. So make sure you guys have your DVR set. And then as far as what's going to be going down for, the first Friday in June, that first weekend in June, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm knocking on wood because I do miss covering Rampage for our 401 community and all that. I did have fun covering WWE Raw on the 411 Mania site this week. I did have fun covering it. And shout out to those of you that, popped your heads in the comment section and all that. But yeah, it's that damn NHL coverage, man. It is that damn NHL coverage. But at this point, AEW Rampage, it'll be back in its regular time slot at this point whenever NHL coverage ends. So I know there's definitely a lot of fans that are just, what the fuck? They're just like, what the fuck? All these different fucking times and all that. Ric Flair apparently has reached out to the immortal Hulk Hogan to his last match, but stressed that Hogan is not going to be his opponent. He just pretty much invited the Hulkster to appear. Here's what he said. Here's what he said on his To Be the Man podcast. I don't know if Conrad Thompson signed him yet. Not that I know of. I think you would have run that by me. He's invited. I've talked to him personally to come to the roast and to come to the match. He hasn't confirmed for sure, but I'm pretty sure he'll be there. Without Eric Bischoff booking it, he doesn't want anything to do with me, laughs. I'm very excited, especially because no one knows who is competing. I'm very excited. Just being part of it has me excited. I'm pushing. I'm a guy who has to have a goal to push myself hard, not knowing exactly who the opponents are going to be, but having a rough idea. Yeah, it's amazing how things kind of blossomed into, FTR and versus Rock and Rolex. I don't know how the hell that had created. I don't know if somebody was doing dream booking. I don't know who fucking started that. I mean, you're hearing that and you're going, well, that would be nice. If it was to play out like that, that would be kind of nice. But Conrad Thompson jumped out there and said, we haven't even announced officially what the match is going to be. Right. So he's not denying that it's going to be maybe a tag match, but as far as participants, like nothing is final yet. And he pretty much said, look, we'll have an announcement coming, but pretty much all the stuff that's been put out there so far, nay, is pretty much his message. Once again, we'll get into AEW Double or Nothing picks in a hot second. Just a couple of more little news tidbits to get into. Looks like Tammy Sitch, Sonny, has reportedly been served with a civil lawsuit. PW Insider had provided an update noting that Sitch was officially served with the lawsuit May 13th in Florida. This is basically from the family of the victim who had died in that fatal car crash this past March. Remember, Sonny is currently incarcerated due to that crash, facing multiple charges and everything. Remember, the last time we talked about this, there was a little bit of conflicting information that was out there. There was concern that the family was not going to be able to serve Tammy Sitch while she currently was being incarcerated, but it turns out they actually were able to serve her with that civil lawsuit. Looks like they're seeking over $100,000. Sitch's boyfriend, James Penty, was also served in Florida. Sitch is currently facing 9 charges. That includes 1 count of DUI, causing death, DUI manslaughter, felony in the 3rd degree, 1 count causing death while operating a vehicle with a suspended license or revoked driver's license, felony in the 3rd degree. 4 counts of DUI causing injury to a person, and 3 counts of DUI causing damage to property. Remember, she had her bond revoked, all that craziness. Her arraignment had went down on May 13th. So that's pretty much where we are standing right now in regards to her. Nikita Lyons, speedy recovery to her. She is not going to be able to participate. Thickums, as I like to call him, Miss Thickums Lyons. She will not be able to participate in the NXT Breakout Star Tournament because she is out on a legit injury. And she had shared a little bit more information about what's going on with her injury. She says she has a partial MCL tear and a MCL sprain. So, ouch, 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 ouch. She did not say how long she expects to be out, but yeah, she's going to be out for now. So, speedy recovery to her. Shout out to Alexa Bliss. Apparently, Alexa Bliss ended up getting in contact with authorities over threats that an individual had made to her using social media. I don't know if you guys had heard about that, but apparently on Tuesday night, she reported that she was receiving threats by a so-called fan after they allegedly threatened to shoot her and her husband in a direct message. She posted to Instagram on Tuesday night to promote a fundraiser for the Saving Huey Foundation, which is a nonprofit that specializes in the rescue and rehabilitation of abused animals. And the Instagram user in question replied to the posting of hers saying, "Do you have anything to say?" To which Bliss said the fan had sent a DM to people threatening to shoot her and her husband, and that she had turned in the screenshots. Yeah. Some of y'all and y'all's obsession with freaking Alexa Bliss, man. Y'all need Jesus. y'all need something, seriously. Y'all need something. Y'all some crazy ass motherfuckers. Some of y'all. I love y'all, but some of y'all are fucking crazy. For you guys in the Chicago area, I got some interesting AEW news for you all. Listen up real quick. Tony Khan is talking about possibly bringing the AEW action to Wrigley Field. Man, just the memories that I have watching the Cubs there and all that. I was a huge Harry Carey fan growing up as a kid. Well, holy cow. Love me some Harry Carey. Yeah, he was interviewed. I'm trying to see who interviewed him. I don't see the credit, but yeah, apparently about doing an event at Wrigley Field. He said it would be interesting to do something at Wrigley Field. I've been on a good amount of events. I've been to a good amount of events at Wrigley Field that have been rained out. That's harder when you have hundreds of thousands of people that pay money for a pay-per-view event and sit in a rain delay. It doesn't make much sense. One of the reasons I scouted Arthur Ashe was because they have a roof. Daly's Place, we did outdoor shows for over a year with a roof. Wrigley Field will probably be my number one dream venue. I just wish there was a way to put a roof over it, but he is eyeballing that bad boy. And I'm sure after he most likely heard or saw what went down with Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks from Game 4's game against the Golden State Warriors last night. We had the rain delay because somehow water was actually able to get into the arena. And just the camera shots that they were having of Mark Cuban, he was looking beyond pissed. He looked like he was getting ready to fire some motherfuckers after that game was over, man. Yeah, the logistics of that, you got to have every single scenario crossed off. Like, what if this happens? What if, right? I mean, remember when TNA was doing shit in baseball fields? God, you want to have a hearty laugh, just type in Impact Wrestling. I don't know, try Impact Wrestling baseball field RCWR show or something like that. You'll see there's one joint I did, right, with them doing something at a baseball field. Just the horror stories I can remember hearing from that. Just bad, man. Just freaking bad. All right, let's, on that note, get into some Double or Nothing picks. Double or Nothing is going to be going down this weekend. I'm seeing it's going to be going down on May the 29th, which is going to be a Sunday. Oof, Sunday going into Monday. Well, see, luckily for me, I'm pretty much going to be going into the start of my vacation. I don't know if you guys are, right? You guys may have different results depending, right? I mean, I know we're going into Memorial Weekend and all that, but yeah, it's going to be going down Sunday night, May 29th, Paradise, Nevada at the T-Mobile Arena. Here's your card. We got 11 matches. Let's get through this as quick as possible. Pre-show matchup, Hook Danhausen against Tony Nese, Mark Sterling, tag team matchup. Come on, man. First time that Hook and Danhausen are teaming up. This is the first proper official time now we're going to be seeing Hook in-ring action, because I don't count what had went down with him against Tony Nese a couple of weeks back. That was just like a 10-second. I looked at that more so of setting up the angle, particularly the union of Hausen and Hook, then, right? So I'm looking at this as the first official in-ring debut of Hook. Yeah, I'm going to go with Hookhausen. Hookhausen, without a shadow of doubt. Jade Cargill, meanwhile, defends the TBS championship against, what is this? Looks like Anna Jay. I see no reason why the championship would change hands. Jade is money. She smells like money. She looks like money. She feels like money. How can I go against that nice, beautiful queen? Come on, man. Come on. Storm is brewing, and it's going to be coming all over Anna Jay's ass. So, wait, that didn't sound right. Moving along, Samoa Joe taking on Adam Cole, men's Owen Hart Cup tournament final. See, I can't help but wonder, is Sanjay Dutt, that basketball sing player, and Jay Lethal, are they going to make their presence felt in this matchup? Because if they are, then Adam Cole wins. If not, right, then Samoa Joe. This is a very interesting dilemma right here. This is, this one I can't quite figure out for the love of me as far as what direction Tony Khan and them are going to be going in here, because I am going to say this is a tricky one. I am going to go with Adam Cole. I'm probably going to live to regret that. I'm going to go with Adam Cole. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander. Remember, this is the AEW Women's Owen Hart Cup Tournament Finals here. So Britt Baker is waiting for the winner of Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander. I'm going to go with, first of all, who's going to win to face Britt Baker? We're going to find out on this Friday's Rampage. I'm going to go with Ruby Soho. But I think regardless, I've got Britt Baker winning this. It just screams Britt Baker. Yeah, my person to win it all was Tony Storm. I thought that was the way we were going to be going. And, it's very interesting that not the case at all, unfortunately. But I think this is pretty much, you might as well just call this the Britt Baker Cup. Seriously. Thunder Rosa, meanwhile, defends her AEW Women's Championship against Serena Deeb. Is this technically the first official title defense for Thunder Rosa since she won the championship? It kind of feels that way, does it not? Assuming that it is, Thunder Rosa. I mean, she's still just really scratching the surface, just really getting started as an AEW Women's Champion. I'm not seeing any reason, and I'm just looking at these matches so far, trying to figure out, okay, could there be a swerve? Could something happen? I'm not seeing a swerve right here. Thunder Rosa all the way. Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus defend their AEW World Tag Team titles against Team Taz is Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland. You know what? I've been consistent so far. I'm going to be a man of my convictions, and I'm going to go all the way on this one. I've been liking the potential idea of a heel Christian turning his back on Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy chasing after Christian Cage. I kind of feel that this particular match is going to be that catalyst needed to send everybody in their respective directions so we could ultimately get what some of us want. I know I definitely want to see Jungle Boy chase after a heel Christian Cage. Keeping that in mind, as far as I'm definitely seeing new tag team champions here. I just can't quite figure out between which two tag teams. I kind of feel as though it's time for Starks and Hobbs, and maybe let Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland continue to chase them and maybe ultimately get the tag titles off of them. That's how I'm kind of looking at this. So I'm going to go with Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs as your new AEW World Tag Champions. Wouldn't mind seeing Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland chase after them for a little while longer. Jericho Appreciation Society taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, the BCC. I hope Renee Young now knows, or Renee Paquette, I hope she now knows the right BCC. I know she said she likes BCC, but then, you know, she had to, whoa, pump the brakes there, right? It's okay if you like, you know, it's okay if you like BCC, right? she said BBC, and then she had to play that shit off. Oh man, good shit right there. Anyway, 6-man, what is this? This is basically an Anarchy in the Arena match. God, this could really go either way. Anarchy in the Arena match. Too close for me to call. This is too close for me to call right here. You would like to think that the way the story arc has been laid out here, all signs seem to indicate, well, this should be all about the Blackpool Combat Club. All things considered, especially what was done to Eddie Kingston and all that. I'm going to go with Blackpool Combat Club. They still need a little bit more establishing. Yeah, I'm going to go with Blackpool. It's too close to call. I'm just going to pick a team. I'm going to go with Blackpool Combat Club. House of Black. Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, Brody King taking on Death Triangles, Pac, Penta Escuro, and Ray Phoenix. 6-man tag match. God damn. We hadn't seen House of Black on a consistent basis in a good minute here, so it doesn't really help that now we get them in the 6-man tag match here. House of Black. I'm going with House of Black. Hardys taking on Young Bucks. Tag match. Jesus Christ. Y'all are killing me with this card, man. Seriously, you guys are killing me with this card. This feels like the beginning of a trilogy here. So Young Bucks. I'm going to go with Young Bucks. MJF versus Wardlow. Remember, if Wardlow wins, he'll be granted his release from his contract with MJF. If MJF wins, Wardlow will be permanently banned from signing with AEW. Wardlow all the way. Wardlow all the way. CM Punk takes on Hangman Adam Page, AEW World Championship. I think it's time for new blood. I think it's time for a new champion. I think you got to go with CM Punk. if you don't pull the trigger and go with CM Punk right here, I mean, let's really stop and really, really think about this. We've gone through basically 2 years of a pandemic. And when it really counted the most, as far as CM Punk, you feel where I'm going with that? So if you're going to do it, especially now that things are back to normal and everything, or getting there, they're getting back to normal. If you're going to go there, what better place? What better time? What better weekend? What better way to build up buzz? All of that shit than doing it right here. You really want to have everybody, trust me, CM Punk won what? You gotta fucking go there. You gotta fucking go there. You gotta go there. You gotta do a hard reset somewhere, I personally feel. I honestly legit feel. Now, hear me out though. Ooh, I really like that idea too. Do you think it's possible that Kenny Omega could make his presence felt in this main event match? That would be something. Because remember who Hangman Page defeated to get that championship off of. And Kenny Omega is still owed a rematch. And we've heard some reports floating around here and there that Kenny Omega, he's been back in AEW. He's just been helping out in a backstage capacity, producing some of the matches and all of that. So is it possible that Kenny Omega makes his return here in this? Could this end in a way where nobody wins, that it's pretty much a DQ? Could Tony Khan maybe go that route? We know Tony Khan doesn't really like going in that direction, but is it possible that he may go in that direction? Even if he doesn't go in that direction, is it still possible for Kenny Omega to appear during or after this main event match? I think Kenny Omega is going to be returning here. I really, really feel as though if you're going to be doing something, you really want to get people talking, you want to get some buzz out there on the websites and social media and all that, Kenny Omega appearance. What I can't quite figure out is the finish to this. If Kenny Omega isn't going to lay both of these guys out, if he's not going to lay both of these guys out to get a fuck finish, then I'm going to say CM Punk is your new AEW champion. I could see CM Punk afterwards trying to get the Hangman to shake his hand. Maybe, just maybe, Hangman reluctantly tries to go in there, shake the hand. Maybe Kenny Omega appears, beats the shit out of both of them, lays them out. It's a good way to end the pay-per-view. Yeah, but, I'm kind of seeing a new champion. I'm definitely I'm going with my gut instinct here. I'm going with a new champion. I'd be very surprised if Hangman Adam Page were to walk out still the champion. All right, so one more time, taking it from the top, working our way to the bottom. Hookhausen over Tony Nese, Mark Sterling, Jade Cargill retaining the AEW TBS Championship. Adam Cole over Samoa Joe to win the men's Owen Hart Cup Tournament Finals. Britt Baker over the winner of Ruby Soho or Chris Statlander to become the winner of the women's Owen Hart Cup Tournament Final. Thunder Rosa retains over Serena Deeb her women's championship. Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs defeat Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland to be your new World Tag Team Champions. Blackpool Combat Club over the Jericho Appreciation Society and Anarchy in the arena match. House of Black over Death Triangle, 6-man tag match. Young Bucks over Hardys tag match. Wardlow over MJF to be granted his release from his contract from MJF. Main event match, Punk becomes your new AEW World Champion. We went through that very quickly. We did a pretty damn good job with that. How did we do on Showtime overall here? Fantastic. We did about an hour, 40 minutes, give or take. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. We not too shabby. Not too shabby. All right. So as far as programming notes go, so Sunday night, we're going to be back right here after AEW Double or Nothing goes off the air. We'll be live on the Twitter, the Facebook, the YouTube. Just search the RCWR show. We'll be live. So if you're going to be around, tune in, especially if you're not going to be able to check out the pay-per-view, because I know for some of you guys, that's a little bit kind of long-winded. Maybe you'll have like an hour plus in your system. Check out the post show, especially the prices for these post shows these days, man, inflation and all that. So if you're not going to be able to order the pay-per-view, even more the reason why you should definitely represent. Come check out the post show this weekend. I'm going to be sitting down with the missus. We'll be recording a new wrestling with the topics. We're going to get that out as soon as possible. Hopefully we can have it up before the weekend is out, because I don't know. I think at this point we're probably going to record 2 episodes back to back, because we are supposed to put one out for this week, and then we got to get ready for another one that's going to be coming out next week. For those of you that's going to be in the DC metropolitan area coming up the weekend of Friday, June 3rd, 2022, don't forget, I'm going to be returning to the nation's capital, Washington Convention Center, for Awesome Con. I'll not only be a member of the press media covering the event, I'll also be moderating and co-hosting a panel. It's the return of our current state of professional wrestling and pop culture. I'll be joined along with Julian Cannon of the Nocturnal and Wrestling Court podcast. I'll also be joined along with Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup. So that's going to be a great panel. Friday, June 3rd at 6:30 p.m. If you're going to be in the area, come hang out. It's going to be a great show. And then we're already in talks. It's early, but we're already in talks to try to see possibly about doing a panel at the New York Comic Con. So I'll keep you guys posted on that one. You guys enjoyed yourselves. Hey, do me a huge favor. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. When you do that, you really help do your part, put more eyeballs on the content. Feel free to subscribe as well. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. For those of you that had tuned in live, appreciate you guys. As always, mass shout out to those of you particularly that be checking out the show on demand and on the downloads. Love you guys tremendously. Been checking out the analytics. Shout out to our sponsors as well, foodforceabundance.com. Shout out to savingatthepump.com. Also, shout out to afroeccentric-boutique.com. Shout out to all of those great sponsors and everybody else that we've been able to work with so far these past couple of weeks. That's going to do it. Until next go round, I'm wishing for all of you all to be safe and, most importantly, be kind to one another, especially in these trying times that we're in right now. I will catch you all this weekend for your Double or Nothing post show from AEW. And unless you have other plans, you won't be able to tune in this weekend. I will catch you guys for your next edition of the RCWR show, which is going to be going down on Monday, June 30th. We'll return on that day at 11:05 p.m. Eastern, just a few minutes after WWE Raw goes off the air. Till then, be well, my friends. Peace.